Hello and welcome to Where's the Handle News. I am your host, Jim Cunliffe. In the headlines tonight, we will be talking about a teddy bear called Rainbow that has been kidnapped in Ardrossan. That's Ayrshire, Scotland. And also we will be talking about brothers collaborating in order to deceive a paternity test. And a chicken farm too close to the nest. That's all coming up in the headlines. Hello, and thank you for joining me again. This is my second attempt at this show today. As I said in the headlines today, teddy bear kidnappings, brothers collaborating to deceive paternity tests, and a chicken farm too close to the nest. But before we do that, just want to say, if you've got any comments or questions on any of the stories that I cover today, then just drop them into the comments section and I will have a look at them at the end of the show. And if you're watching on replay, still drop your comments and questions on any of our stories today and I will be sure to look at them and perhaps include them in the next couple of shows. So, yes, if you would care to give us a like, follow, subscribe, share the feed or share this page, you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Twitch, all at Where's the Handle. And if you go on YouTube, search Where's the Handle and there will be links in the description. So, on to our headlines. Let's cue the intense headline music. So, our first story of today is the teddy bear being held to ransom in Ardrossan, Ayrshire. And to do that, I am going to share my screen and we'll go to the article itself. Let's have a look. There we go. Yes. So, a giant teddy bear held to ransom in exchange for 2 Greggs sausage rolls. You heard it right. 2 Greggs sausage rolls. Now this was reported on Monday, last Monday, a week ago today. And it says that a manhunt is underway after a morale-boosting teddy bear was stolen. A manhunt, not a bear hunt. And really, is there a manhunt underway? Is there numerous people, police, members of public all out there searching for this teddy bear? Are they really? I find that hard to believe. Anyway, the thieves have also left a sinister note demanding food from Greggs, or else what? Is he going to give it a good old stuffing? I don't know. Or else what? I mean, he's got something sinister lined up for that bear, hasn't he? So, the bear, which was known, this past tense, known for holding a sign saying "Keep Smiling," was last seen outside the Metro nightclub in Ardrossan on Friday evening at around 6:30 p.m. That means the bear was last seen looking a little worse for wear, slumped on a bench in the rain, sleeping off a day of it on the finest ye old English cider off his napper. And I'll show you. There's a picture of him in a minute. I'll show you, looking a little worse for wear as well. The ransom note, which has been posted repeatedly across the town, said, "We have your bear Rainbow. If you want to see Rainbow again, bring me 2 Greg's sausage rolls to the 2nd green bench at Glebe Park tomorrow at 11 a.m. or else." I mean, not even a steak bake or one of them fancy katsu curry pastry thingamajigs. Anyway, however, the article goes on to say, however, the people of Ardrossan do not negotiate with terrorists or hostage takers and have refused to bend to the demands of the Tednapper. I mean, that's Tednapper. The use of that word is about as far out as it goes in this article. So, because they don't negotiate with terrorists, they've refused to buy the Tednapper a couple of sausage rolls in exchange for the teddy bear. I mean, it's just a couple of sausage rolls. I mean, what are they? You get like 4 for £2 maybe. I mean, it's not expensive, is it? It's not like you're dealing with ISIS, is it? I don't know. I'm beginning to worry about some of these people. It's like saying we hate ISIS so much that even if they said they would disarm and cease all terrorist activities in exchange for 2 sausage rolls, that we will not bow to your demands. Until then, you can keep your jihadism. 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 Yes. Anyway, it goes on again to say, in any case, the nearest branch of Greg's is currently closed due to the pandemic. So, a lengthy walk or a lengthy travel. I mean, you're talking Scotland here, it's probably a long way to the next available Greg's. Speaking of the sadness at Rainbow's disappearance, one resident has said that it was fun and seemed to lift community spirit. The town was given false hope over the weekend when a bear was spotted outside a care home. However, that was found to be another toy called Stormzy and not Rainbow, so the hunt continues. I mean, imagine, Rainbow? Is that you? Rainbow? Rainbow? Oh, Stormzy again. You're never too big for your boots. You're never too big for your boots. The stories, eh? So, the perpetrator has left some clues as to who he might be. So, he was kidnapped sometime after 6:30 p.m. on Friday, so perhaps it's someone in their teens or older. I would hazard a guess. And the grammar of the ransom note is of a pretty good standard, and it's printed as well. It's printed out, multiple printouts of this ransom note has been placed around the town of Ardrossan, and which might suggest that it might be someone with their own home, like they've got some sort of responsibility, ownership over their home. I mean, I can't imagine, if someone else lived with them and they were printing out stacks of these ransom notes, that someone might have said, "You're taking this a little bit too far." I would say it's definitely someone local. I wouldn't be wanting to travel miles and miles for couple of sausage rolls to end up being cold when I got there. So, it's got to be definitely someone local. So in conclusion, it's a male, probably single, probably mid to late 20s, stretching to the mid 30s, lives local, and actually seems to be educated to a good standard. Has he been found yet? This has been over a week. Now, I do not know, and I'd like to know, so I have tried finding out. So if you do know, let me know, and then let everyone else know that Rainbow's been found. I mean, not to get mixed up with Stormzy that's hanging about up there as well. Anyway, that's our teddy bear called Rainbow that has been kidnapped in Ardrossan, Ayrshire. In our next story, we have the brothers collaborating to deceive a paternity test in London. So again, I will go and get the article up for you. Just bear with us a sec. The article there. Two brothers rumbled. There we go. Should have scrolled up at the beginning. Two brothers rumbled after DNA paternity test scam backfires spectacularly. Now, this guy here, Christian Robinson, there's only one thing that this guy can be called. Knob. Outright knob. Christian Robinson hatched a plan to avoid paying child maintenance and persuaded his brother to pose as him for a DNA test to falsely prove he was not a baby's father. Now, before I go on, I ain't going to do all that much commentary, not as much as I did in the last story on this story, because I think it just speaks for itself anyway. A reluctant father who was trying to avoid child maintenance payments persuaded his younger brother to stand in for a DNA paternity test, which backfired spectacularly. Christian came to light when the child's mother queried the results of the test, which showed the man who took it was related to her child but wasn't its father. And when she was shown a picture of the man who took the test at a doctor's surgery, she said it looked like a young version of her ex-partner. And it was, in fact, his brother, Samuel, whom she had never met. Now, I'd like to point out that I think in this case with his brother, I think he's just been doing what's being asked of him by his older brother. His older brother's asked him to take a DNA test on his behalf. And I think at that age, he was about 17, young, impressionable, not giving a massive excuse for it, but I think in those circumstances, you do favours for your brother, wouldn't you? So, again, I'd let him off the hook a bit, but Christian, definite knob. The brothers of Leicester Road, Shepshed, were then charged with jointly committing fraud by false representation, which they admitted when the case came to Leicester Crown Court. Priya Bakshi, prosecuting, told Leicester Crown Court that Christian, now 26, was in a relationship with the woman when she became pregnant in 2017, and they split up shortly before the birth in January 2018. The baby's mother made a child maintenance. I say it wrong apparently, child maintenance. It's maintenance, is it? The baby's mother made a child maintenance application in February and named Christian as the father, which he denied and requested a DNA test. And then on March the 8th, Samuel took the test in his brother's name, and a week later it came back as negative. But listen to this, but showed that the person who gave the sample was related to the baby. I don't think that Christian the knob, fully thought this through. The mother challenged the results, which led to the deception coming to light. Meanwhile, Christian amassed £5,500 in child maintenance arrears. And the prosecutor claimed that the mother could potentially have lost out on more than £60,000 if he had escaped liability. And then it just goes on to say about the court hearing that Samuel, now 20 years old, he was in training to be a soldier, had a promising career ahead of him. Christian the knob, deeply regretted his actions, and then leading to his 70-year-old brother getting into trouble. So Christian is currently on benefits, and he's contributing now towards his maintenance arrears. Then a bit more about Samuel and how he's trying to avoid discharge from the army and blah blah blah. As again I'll say, Samuel, I'm not too bothered about in this. Our main focus here is the knob. So he said that Christian had to bear the major brunt for putting his younger brother's career in jeopardy. So not only did he try escape responsibility for paying for his child, he's now feeling shame for also putting his brother's career in jeopardy. Should have thought about that shit before doing it. The judge is saying he's satisfied with his remorse and shame, and he thinks that they're genuine, saying that he's hard pressed for money and on benefits, but are now paying something towards the shortfall, and how the judge expects him to get a job to pay his dues. And again, accept your health in many ways has dealt you a raw deal and frustrated your ambitions to work in sports coaching. Boo hoo hoo. That's totally irrelevant. Totally irrelevant is all that. Anyway, if you're hard pressed for money and on benefits, you don't go falsifying DNA tests or trying to avoid paying for his child. And furthermore, potentially denying that child a father. I mean, that's what essentially he's doing. He's just trying to escape the whole responsibility of being a father. But yeah, no doubt a shame, in years to come would have been too great for him to bear anyway. So yeah, that's something to chew on, I suppose. But still, however, is a knob. So, yes, there we have it. That's our second story of tonight. Brothers collaborating to deceive a paternity test in Leicester. Our next story is about a chicken farm that comes too close to the nest in Lincoln. Now, for this one, I feel like this story may be a little bit controversial. So let's get this story up on the screen. Oh, by the way, if you've got any comments on that last story and sort of my portrayal of it, let me know. Drop your comments in the comments section, and I will have a look towards the end. And again, if you're watching on replay, I will still read your comments, and we perhaps will mention them in later episodes. So here we have the chicken farm story. So, people behind plans to house 32,000 birds on a Lincoln farm are not concerned by strong objections. And as I say, I feel that this story might be a little bit controversial. But first quoted piece there is saying it is difficult to see how any reasonable person can object. Now, this is obviously someone who's involved with the planning of this controversial chicken farm. And I have to say, I agree, but perhaps not outright. No reasonable person can object to having this chicken farm anywhere nearby. I mean, first of all, with a growing population, there's a growing demand for chicken and eggs. Albeit far from ideal, having to farm and mass produce these animals. Like, stopping the plan going ahead is like sweeping it under the carpet. To me, that's what it's like. I mean, what you're going to do, push it somewhere else where they can't see it. I don't know. It's a question, isn't it? So, agents of the planning application, which could house 32,000 birds per year, are not worried about objections to the proposals. Plans for the Lincoln Bird Unit, which will be complemented by 16 hectares of roaming space, were submitted by P.A. Arden and Son Limited in November last year. That's 32,000 birds a year. And that's roughly the 16,000 people roughly objecting. So that's equal to 2 birds for every 1 person that's objected. And I bet that 1 person consumes more than 2 birds each year. I bet. I can almost guarantee it. I mean, I eat chicken. I know I'll probably eat over the course of a year more than just 2 chickens. I mean, that farm probably wouldn't even feed the 16,000 people that are objecting to it. That's assuming that they're all meat eaters. So, what is this? It's like, we'll eat them and their eggs, but we don't want to see what they look like prior to the mass killing and them being packaged. Is that what it is? I don't know. A petition was organised by PETA, P-E-T-A, Animal Protection Organisation, and was signed by over 16,000 people and has been sent to West Lindsey District Council. It's called for them to reject proposals to the farm, claiming it would not meet animal welfare standards and would cause a range of emission and traffic-related issues in the local area. The planning consultancy handling the application said they do not believe the petition will cause any disruption. The planning consultants told Lincolnshire Live it is certainly not unusual for organisations such as PETA to submit objections to planning applications for livestock development, and I do not anticipate that the petition will have any impact upon the progress of the application. The proposed scheme seeks development of a free-range egg production unit in combination with an extensive tree planting scheme. Look at that. It looks lovely and rural, that, doesn't it? I mean, imagine having a chicken farm in the middle of a more like a city or a town, you know. You won't get any places like that there. It looks pretty nice. So, they've got a tree planting scheme. It's probably to plant the trees in between them and the objectifiers. We will have our chicken farm and you will not see us for the trees. Well, it is emphasised that the new farm will be operated to the highest welfare standards and hens will be free to range across over 40 acres of surrounding pasture and woodland. Sounds nice. It is difficult to see how any reasonable person can object to the scheme on the basis of animal welfare. In the letter by PETA, P-E-T-A, also highlighted further problems it believes could be caused by the farm. It claims ammonia from the chicken's waste would be emitted from the farm into the surrounding area, and the increased number of vehicles accessing the farm would likely worsen traffic on the A1133. Mr. Grundy added, furthermore, the poultry farm will not compromise the levels of amenity afforded by neighbouring occupants or give rise to traffic problems. The environmental impact of the proposed development was carefully appraised at the outset. So the plan is for 40 acres of pasture and woodland for free-range chicken and their eggs. If places like this existed in more urban areas, I mean, the concept of a farm, if it existed in an urban area, what quality would the birds expect to receive? I would argue that it won't be as good as this one. That's my point on that bit. I mean, you want to carry on eating chicken and those lovely products with all that egg in, then the farms have to go somewhere. And maybe if they were a little closer to where we lived, maybe we would see where our food came from. Maybe that will focus minds when it comes to our farming practices and what we actually want in our diet. It's no good just sweeping it under the carpet and saying, no, we don't want it near us, we'll just chuck it somewhere else. The other point is, no matter where the farm goes, these problems of waste and extra traffic and stuff like that, that'll still exist. It'll still be created because of your demand for chicken and the products, the egg products, everything that egg goes into. Again, make of that what you will, and let me know what you think about that. Drop your views, remarks, comments into the comments section. Right, coming up in the next moment or so, we will be doing the sports news and the weather. Now, last week I got them two the wrong way round. So this week, let's get it in order, shall we? Stop that. Right. There we have it. Right. Up next, we have the sports news. Woo! Right, in today's sport, let me just get a few details up here for you. Right. In today's sports news, we will be looking at some matches. It's going to be slightly off because of yesterday's attempt to go live going catastrophically wrong. They will be slightly out of date, but there we have it. So today's matches are actually yesterday's matches, and we're talking football news. So in the FA Super League, Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 4, Birmingham City 0. Why am I saying 0? It's 0, isn't it? Let me do that again. Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 4, Birmingham City 0, Man City 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Everton 3. And in the FA Championship, London City Lionesses 0, Durham Women 1, Coventry United Ladies 0, Charlton Athletic Women 2. And Leicester City Women 1, Crystal Palace Women 0, Liverpool Women 3, and London Bees 0. I feel like that I was talking a little bit too much like that guy off of who does the football results on the BBC. Well, we all have aspirations, right? And today's matches in the Premier League, obviously, with yesterday's matches. So you got Crystal Palace and Fulham, Leicester City, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, Burnley, Chelsea, Man United, and Sheffield United, Liverpool. They've obviously played already. I had no intention of including the results of these games in this little section. So, you want to know the results? Probably know them by now, but you get the idea. You'll have to go check them yourself. It was a bit harsh, that, wasn't it? It seemed a bit too telly-offy. Well, and then, in our final bit of news, a look ahead to the football. And on Wednesday, in round 16 of the Champions League, we'll have Barcelona versus Fortuna. Yes, I cannot say that word. Barcelona versus Fortuna Sittard. Kick-off at 3:45 in the afternoon. Then we've got Manchester City versus Fiorentina, and they kick off at 4:45 in the afternoon. And then we've got Rosengard and St. Polten at 5. And you've got Wolfsburg versus Kavina at 5:15. Sparta Prague and Paris Saint-Germain at 6. And then Chelsea and Atletico Madrid at 7. There you go. So, that is your sports update for this week. Now, again, comment on my technique and I shall reevaluate what it is that I am doing. Anyway, right. Now, we have the weather update. Your weekly weather forecast. Right, yes, I shall get the weather forecast up. I need to be a bit quicker with this little transition, but there we go. On Monday, so it's going to be 7 degrees up Edinburgh sort of way, 8 in Belfast, 7 around Manchester, and 9 in London. No rain, and I ain't going to signify. I ain't going to show where the cloud is. Don't need to. Just look out your window. If it's cloudy, it's cloudy. If it's not, it's not. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I also I haven't included the Shetland Islands up here somewhere. Oh, get me bearings. The Shetland Islands or the Orkney Islands, because I mean they're not. Well, they are part of the UK, but they're like way up there, and like the weather's always the same there. So do I need to do a forecast for those bits? Nah. So yeah, no rain on Monday. It looks quite a dry day. I mean, today I woke up to fog again. I ain't showing fog on this forecast. If it's foggy, you just look out your window, you know it's foggy. I don't need to. I think the basics of weather is temperature and where it's raining. The rest you can do for yourself, can't you, really? Right. So that was Mondays. On Tuesday, again, hardly any rain anywhere, but temperatures are going to be around sort of between 4 and 6 degrees further north, and in sort of the London area, 9 degrees. And then on Wednesday, we've got a bit of rain down there, Cornwall, Devonshire area, and then around this little central bit here. I should do my hands bit, shouldn't I? Around central. This is what the professionals do. around the London area over towards Cardiff. Temperatures again, 4 up in Scotland, 7 in sort of Belfast, Manchester area, and 11 down in London. It's always warmer in London, I've noticed, by a couple of degrees. And then on Thursday, between 5 and 6 for the much of the UK. London's, you're talking about 7 degrees, and it's going to be raining down there. I'm guessing that's like Essex, Sussex, Kent, London sort of area, and that's it. It's supposed to be dry elsewhere, really. And then finally on Friday, it's looking like another dry day. Temperatures between 4 and 6 degrees, 6 being in London. So that was the weather, and that is about it. Now, our episodes are usually every Sunday 9 p.m. Now, I attempted that yesterday, as I mentioned earlier, but for whatever reason my video weren't working, so I've had to quit it and redo it today. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. I can't even speak. I hope you've enjoyed it and enjoyed my choice of headlines. You might have seen that if you don't like my choice of headlines or my headline titles, you can put your suggestions in. If you want to change the headlines, absolutely fine. I'm game for that, and we can get them changed. So if you've got funny, preferably, yeah, I think they'll get the tick, and we can choose them ones for our headlines. The funnier, the better. And also, if you'd like to leave your comments, just let me know what you thought of the show. You know, what you didn't like. Feedback would be greatly appreciated. All that's left to say now is check us out on social media, and we shall see you next Sunday, 9 p.m. Thank you for watching or listening. If you're watching thank you for watching, and if you're listening, thank you for listening on the podcast. Good night. Bye bye.